you see any real difference in how education is approached? As an example, I interviewed Anthony Muhammad, and his answer was a loss of intellectualism. I wonder what you see when you go to all these different international schools.
If you asked me that question 20 years ago, I would say that even in the US and here in Australia, principals weren't using research. It was something that was out there distance. That has changed dramatically. Now, surely that is a sign of a wonderful intellect amongst our principals, that they don't have to accept it, but they at least know about it. I think that's dramatically different. Now, you go to Japan, for example, and what principals do there is they do a lot of model teaching in front of their teachers. And I said to them one day, well, that's very rare in Australia. And they looked at me and said, so what's the point of a principal if I don't do model teaching? If I'm not the best teacher in the school and I'm not demonstrating how to do this and I'm not showing the teachers what it means and I'm not having an impact on the kids, then why am I a principal? You go to France, they don't even have the concept of principals. And I remember once talking to the Minister of Education from France, and I was there with Richard Elmore, and we were having this conversation, and the minister said, well, I want to introduce what you're doing into France. And I said, well, this is what we do with school leaders. He said, we don't have the concept of leadership. Now, Richard was faster than I am. He said, therefore, Minister, you have one less barrier to doing this. But on the other hand, they don't have, because it's very scripted, what they do and when they do it and how they do it. So yes, the concept of a principal can change dramatically across different countries. But I think we're in the best situation, where we have our principals as seen as the lead in the school. You know that you have to work upwards and control that, and you have to work downwards and control that, and you have to work outwards to control that. So you have the hub, and this is why Michael Fullan is his big issue about leading from the middle, leading from the school. And I had a Director General and Superintendent here in Australia, when she went and took over her system, she changed the concept that the centre of education is not in the department office. The centre of education is the principal's office in every school. Indonesia is a fascinating country. The most dramatic change in the last 10 years, simply because the Director General said the whole system is about students, students, students. How do I resource teachers to improve students? And I met the Minister of Education, and he brought out his laptop and he could show me, I've got these 5,000 schools doing this random control study, I've got these 8,000 schools. He knew right down to the impact he was having. He said, I stopped this program because it had no impact on kids. It can happen. It is happening. What happens in the US? You're told you're going to have a new curriculum, you're going to have a new assessment, you're going to have a new structure. Is it going to help kids? Most new curriculums have no effect on kids. Dramatic effect on teachers' lives. And so the whole lot of the system is built making your school busy. I get very frustrated with that. That's not true in some countries. Some countries, like France, like parts of China, very scripted. Go to Singapore. Those teachers, principals are incredibly esteemed throughout their system. No wonder they're number one. They're esteemed because of their high impact. And they're a bit ruthless. If you're not having high impact, you've moved on very quickly. And so, is it a democracy? Well, they would argue it is, but it's not the same as yours. It's a different system. So yeah, there are differences in principles of what they're asked to do around the world, and I think we can learn from that. But I make no excuse that what we have in Australia, what you have in America, we can do it. There are principals who are doing dramatically powerful things now